peace be upon you, and may God's mercy and blessings be upon you. You, chosen by Allah, who bear the scars of silent battles and sleepless nights, listen with your heart today. This message is for you, the one who has endured trials that very few can understand, a trial that most would flee or abandon. You have passed the most difficult, that steep mountain that separates the weak soul from the purified soul, doubt from certainty, fear from deep faith. And yet, you are still here, standing, despite the violent winds and storms that tried to shake you. How many thought they saw the end and gave up? How many turned away at the slightest difficulty, letting their faith waver in the darkness? You persevered. You are a chosen one, chosen by Allah for a destiny beyond human understanding. What you are experiencing today is not just a painful passage, but a divine test, a fiery forge where your soul is tempered and purified. Every tear shed, every sincere prayer, every moment of patience has built within you a spiritual fortress. This fortress, though sometimes invisible to the eyes of the world, is seen and recognized by the one who never sleeps. You are on the threshold of a profound transformation, where the light of Allah begins to pierce the dark clouds of trial. Don't be fooled by the apparent slowness of change. Remember that even the hardiest seeds take time to take root in the earth before rising majestically toward the sky. Your heart, even in pain, is preparing to open to an unprecedented spiritual flowering. Allah's promise is clear. Those who persevere in faith, love, and submission will be rewarded beyond anything their minds can imagine. Billions of blessings await you, wealth that is not just material, but spiritual, inner peace, clarity of mind, and success in this life and the hereafter. You are not alone in this ordeal. Thousands, perhaps millions, are walking this same path, but only 0.01% manage to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You embody that light. Do not let doubts distance you from what your heart knows to be true. The ordeal, although difficult, is a sign of Allah's love for you, for no one is given more than they can bear. So open your mind and soul to this truth. What you have been through has transformed you, and what you are about to receive will take you to heights you have never imagined. The road is difficult, but each step brings you closer to this immense reward. Prepare to welcome this new phase with faith, humility, and gratitude. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, has chosen you, not to break you, but to crown you. It is this test that makes you truly chosen, a purified servant ready to receive the billions of blessings the Almighty has reserved for you. Never lose this vision, for it is the light that will guide you in the days ahead. And now is the time to understand what this trial truly meant. Many experience difficulties and are content to endure them. But Allah has allowed you to go through them so that you may understand a message that few can hear. This trial was not there to destroy you, but to awaken what was most precious in you. Your connection with Allah, your sincerity, your heart stripped of all illusion. For yes, the most intense trials come to those whom Allah loves the most, to those whom He has chosen to bear a burden that others cannot bear. How many times have you asked yourself, why me? Why so much suffering, so much waiting, so much loss? Why this apparent silence while your heart cried out in the night? It wasn't abandonment. It was a process, a refinement, like gold purified in fire so that it shines brighter. Allah never left you. He watched your every step, noted every beat of your heart and every tear shed in the secrecy of the night. And while you may have doubted your strength, He knew exactly what He was building within you. He knew this pain would become your momentum. He knew this weight would become your ascent. And now you're beginning to feel it. Take a good look around you. Things are changing slowly, but they are changing. Your heart is stronger, your vision clearer. You see the world differently. You understand that chasing the world is an illusion. You feel that true success lies in the pleasure of Allah, not in the approval of men. You realize that you are able to cope, not because you are strong on your own, but because Allah has made you strong through trial. And here's what many fail to see. Those who emerge, transform from the ordeal, receive blessings of another level. Not common blessings, not crumbs of goodness, but an unimaginable abundance. For they have proven themselves capable of receiving without corruption, of succeeding without pride. And this wealth, this barakah, is rare. That is why only the chosen have access to it. You are on the threshold of this phase. The doors are beginning to open. What you had lost, Allah can restore. What you never had, Allah can give you with a single word, with a single decree. But He waits until your heart is ready to receive it without turning away from Him. Most people want the reward without the struggle. They want the blessings without the patience. They open doors without walking through dark corridors. But Allah does not give His light to those who flee the night. He does not give His knowledge to those who seek only comfort. He chooses His special servants, and He trains them as a master trains his champion. This is not harsh treatment. It is a mark of love, a sealing of election. And now that you have survived this, you must walk with more faith, more serenity. Don't turn back. Don't fall back into the chains of fear, doubt, or worldly addictions. What you've been through has purified you to receive a sacred trust. Your vision of success will now change. You no longer chase after what others desire. You move forward toward what Allah has prepared for you. You no longer seek to be seen. You only want to be accepted by the all-seeing One. You no longer want to please the crowds, but to find favor in the eyes of your Lord. Remember this truth. When Allah tests you, it is not to deprive you. It is to better entrust you. When He closes a door, it is because He is preparing a wider portal. And this portal is near. You already feel it. You perceive it in your heart, in the signs around you. This is no longer the time to hesitate. This is the time to stand up straight, raise your hands to the sky and say, Ya Allah, I am ready. There is immense wisdom behind every trial you have faced, even those you never understood. Allah, in His unlimited knowledge, never placed you in these situations by chance. Every moment you doubted yourself, every moment you felt abandoned, every silence from heaven, every prayer that went seemingly unanswered was a page in the secret book of your divine formation. You were not abandoned. You were being built. Allah was not breaking you. He was revealing you. He was shaping you in the invisible, where the eyes of the world cannot see, but where the light of your soul was beginning to be born. And now that you have crossed the valley of pain, look at what you have gained without even realizing it. Your heart is no longer the same. It is more attentive, more receptive, less dependent on the world. You no longer seek validation from others, because you know that only Allah knows your truth. You no longer chase the noise of the crowd, because you have learned to love the silence in which Allah speaks to you. This silence that once hurt you has now become your refuge. You now know that it was not a void, but a sacred space in which Allah deposited His wisdom. What most people run from, emptiness, loneliness, uncertainty, is what you have learned to embrace. And that is why you are different. You are no longer shaped by the standards of this world. You are shaped by divine light. You have become a servant refined by trial, ready to receive responsibilities that only the chosen can bear. For indeed, Allah never gives a great trust to an unstable heart. He does not entrust his spiritual and material riches to those who have not been tested by difficulty. And you have been tested. You have been emptied of your illusions. You have been broken of your attachments. You have been exposed to yourself in the nakedest truth. And now you are ready. Ready to enter a new reality. A season where Allah uplifts, gives, restores. You haven't gone through all this for nothing. The pains of the past were the pains of childbirth. You are now giving birth to a purer, more aligned version of yourself, more rooted in certainty. And this is what most will never see. They want to skip the stage of stripping away. But it is in this stripping away that light descends. It is in the losses that you have made the greatest gains. Closeness to Allah, a deep understanding of your being, an inner independence from the world. You are no longer worth your weight in gold, you are worth your weight in light. Now you will understand why so much was taken away from you. It was to avoid weighing you down. You could not climb carrying everything you thought you needed. Allah relieved you. He cleansed you. He separated you from what would hinder your ascent, even if at the time you experienced it as an injustice. Today, you realize that it was a deliverance. You understand that it was in this void that He dug a greater capacity to receive His gifts. He emptied you to better fill you. He starved you so that you would feel the sweetness of His sustenance. He took away certain voices from you so that you would hear His more clearly. And now, take a good look at what is beginning to present itself to you. The signs are there. Doors are slowly, subtly opening. The right people are appearing. Opportunities that were never available to you are becoming closer. Inspirations are flowing into your heart. Ideas you never even dreamed of are being born in your mind. This is no accident. This is a divinely orchestrated moment. You have survived the spiritual winter, and you are entering a spring where everything will blossom. But remember this. This spring is not to distract you, it is to serve you. It is not here to flatter your ego, but to remind you that all abundance comes from Allah and returns to Him. Stay connected to what you have become. Stay true to the depths you have reached. Don't return to old patterns. Don't fall back. What you have become after this ordeal is sacred. Protect it, cultivate it, develop it. And above all, never forget to remain humble. For Allah only elevates those who remain prostrate within, even when they are standing upright on the outside. You are on the path of the chosen, and this path is noble. It is rare, it is demanding, but it is blessed. And you are already far ahead of those who are content to chase after what the world offers. Keep moving forward. For true wealth, the one that no one can take away from you, is already descending upon you, silently, with the delicacy of divine mercy. You know, there is a moment when the heart understands without hearing, when the soul sees without the eyes opening. It is that rare moment when Allah grants you a lucidity that the world does not know. A lucidity that does not come from reasoning, but from spiritual intuition. And that is precisely what you are experiencing right now. You may not be able to explain it to those around you. You may not be able to prove it, but you feel it as an inner evidence. You are emerging from a tunnel that has changed you forever. You are no longer in the stage of confusion. You are in awakening. Allah has torn you from your old life to show you that true life begins only when we stop seeking ourselves in illusions. And now that you have survived what others would not have endured, even for a single day, you must understand this. It is not the result of chance, nor simply of your strength. It is the fruit of Allah's favor upon you. He chose you to experience what few people are capable of enduring. He saw in your heart something that deserved to be polished, strengthened, enlarged. It was not a question of punishing you, but of preparing you. And today, you no longer have the right to doubt yourself, nor your future. for your future is already written in a light that only you can carry. And every step you take now is charged with an immense responsibility, that of not returning to the smallness of what you were before the ordeal. Do not betray yourself. You have seen what it is like to live in confusion. You have seen what it is like to cling to things or people that Allah wanted to remove. You understood that every loss was not an end, but a redirection. And now, look at what this has produced in you. Greater clarity, a peace that no longer depends on circumstances, a commitment to Allah that no longer unravels at the slightest storm. This is true wealth. It does not shine like gold. It shines like patience. It sparkles like certainty. It radiates like willing submission. And what you must understand now is that this transformation you have experienced is rare. Few people ever see their pain through. Many stop along the way, resist change, flee loneliness, return to toxic attachments. But you remained standing, or at least you remained prostrate. And that is why Allah is raising you up now. He hasn't just made you stronger, He's made you more capable. Capable of receiving greater things. Capable of being a channel for guidance. Capable of representing a light in a dark world. You were chosen to serve, not just to survive. And that mission begins when you fully accept that your story was not a mistake, but a divine calling. There are billions of opportunities, blessings, encounters, projects, even material riches gravitating around you now. You don't see them all yet, but they are there, attracted by the new frequency of your soul. You vibrate differently, you speak differently, you think differently. You can no longer remain invisible in this world. What you have become after the ordeal attracts the gaze of those who seek the authentic. And even if you remain discreet, your light can no longer be hidden. For what you carry comes from above, not from you. But don't be in a hurry. Allah's blessings always arrive on time. They are never hasty, but always precise. Keep walking with confidence. Keep purifying your intention. Keep working on your heart like a gardener works his land. For what you are about to receive is directly related to the quality of your inner being. If your heart remains humble, Allah will take you into circles you never imagined. If your heart remains sincere, He will place in your hands what others pursue all their lives without ever attaining. But if your heart deviates, then even abundance will become poison. Remember that the chosen are not those who have everything, but those who have Allah when they have nothing. And now that you are about to receive more, never forget how you began. Alone, broken, lost. This memory is your strength. It is what will prevent you from becoming arrogant. It is what will remind you that everything is grace and nothing is owed. And the more you remember this, the more Allah will increase your share. For he who knows how to give thanks, even in silence, attracts the secret of the greatest openings. So move forward. The path is open. You no longer need to convince anyone. What you have become is your proof. And what you will soon experience will be your testimony. The billions that await you are not just an image. They are real blessings, manifesting according to your level of sincerity, service, and faith. Stay aligned. Stay at peace. Stay connected to Source. And the rest will come to you with precision that leaves no doubt. There comes a time in the life of an elected official when silence speaks louder than words. That moment when you no longer need to explain your pain or recount your struggle. You simply look back and see everything you've been through. And deep down, you know it wasn't nothing. You know you could have collapsed, disappeared, turned away. You know you were on the edge, between two worlds, between two realities. And yet, today, you're still here, stronger, more aware, more at peace. Even if everything around you hasn't changed yet, something fundamental has been rewritten inside you. Your outlook on life is no longer the same. Your relationship with the world has been purified. You no longer seek to please, you seek to be true. You no longer seek to possess, you seek to understand. You no longer chase appearances, you walk toward the essence. And this transformation is precious, for it is the fruit of a secret covenant between you and Allah, a covenant that no one else can truly grasp. What you went through wasn't meant to destroy you, but to detach you. Detachment is a word few understand. We often believe that losing is being punished. But in reality, sometimes losing is being purified. Allah took away what you believed was essential to show you that what was essential was Him. He confronted you with your limits so that you could discover His power. He left you alone so that you would understand that you were never abandoned. And now that you've internalized this, now that your heart has softened, now that your tears have washed away your illusions, you can finally receive what you were truly meant to carry. A mission, a direction, a light that cannot be bought, an inner voice that knows its worth. There is divine wisdom in every event, even in those you didn't understand. Perhaps you were cast aside for a long time. Perhaps you felt excluded, forgotten, invisible. But this withdrawal wasn't a rejection. It was a divine retreat. Allah kept you apart to prepare you, to forge you, to fill you with what this empty world doesn't offer. He educated you in silence. He polished you in the shadows. And today, He gently brings you back into the light, not so that you will be seen, but so that you will be useful. You are not called to shine for yourself, but to enlighten others. And this sacred fire within you, this wisdom born of trial, is your true wealth. It is this that attracts blessings. It is this that opens doors. Never minimize what you've been through. Don't let anyone make you believe you're weak or that you've wasted your time. Every sleepless night, every painful prayer, every tearful silence, every moment of surrender has built within you a strength that even the angels gaze upon with awe. And this strength isn't seen in muscles or words. It's seen in steadfastness, in your ability to remain upright even when everything called you to bend, in your faith that grows even without immediate reward, in your heart that continues to beat for Allah, even when everything seems to be slipping away. You have reached a point where your mere presence in this world is a reminder. You are living proof that one can be reborn after being broken, that one can move forward without understanding, that one can love without receiving. You are the manifestation of a silent verse, proof that Allah's help is real, discreet but profound. And now that you are here with all this experience within you, all that remains is for you to take one step, the step of gratitude. Not gratitude from others, but gratitude toward the one who has never abandoned you. Be grateful, cry if you must. Prostrate yourself without words. But feel that deep gratitude that opens the heavens. For Allah has seen you. He has chosen you. He has kept you. And now He opens a new season for you. What you have been through is behind you, but what you carry is before you. And what you carry is heavy, precious, heavenly. You did not suffer to return to the starting point. You suffered to ascend. You were not broken to be thrown away, but to be lifted up. Keep this thought in your heart. Allah elevates those who remain sincere. And you have become one, even without wanting to, even by stumbling, even by shouting sometimes. Because despite everything, you have remained with Him. And that is enough for Him to send down upon you blessings you have not even imagined yet. There is a truth that many forget in the tumult of this world. Once you have passed through the flames, Allah never brings you back to the same place. He does not allow you to return to your former little life, to your old perception. You can no longer see as before, Think as before. Dream as before. You have become someone else, shaped in secret, in the invisible. The most difficult test you have borne has not only changed you, it has sanctified you. There is within you a silent wisdom, a light that does not cry out, but that illuminates. This is the sign of those whom Allah has tested with love. For yes, even if it seems strange, the love of Allah is sometimes manifested through fire, through emptiness, through lack. For it is in this lack that you encounter Him without distraction. It is in the absence of everything that His presence becomes evident. Many want billions, success, open doors, visible blessings, but few want to be purified. Few understand that what you receive will only be tasty if your heart is ready to receive it. Allah does not give His chosen ones what they ask for in a hurry. He gives them what they need at the exact moment their soul is ready to bear it with justice, with gratitude, with wisdom. And you, chosen by Allah, have arrived at that moment. You may not see it yet. You don't necessarily feel the results. But you are already in the phase where things are changing. You are in the invisible realm of immense change. The kind of change that doesn't make a sound at first, but which transforms a destiny forever. Don't look for outward signs. Don't look for an explosion. Sometimes, the beginning of a huge victory begins in a whispered prayer, in a silent tear. The world won't immediately see what Allah is doing with you, and that's by design. For He wants to distance you from ego. He wants your faith to be rooted not in looks, but in certainty. A peaceful, stable, inner certainty. You don't need people to know. You need to know that your Lord has never looked away. You need to remember that even when you doubted yourself, He never doubted you. He supported you even when you fell. He kept you even when you cried. And today, He shows you that nothing was in vain. There are blessings that arrive quietly, yet they turn a life upside down. You receive them quietly, but you realize that nothing will ever be the same again. An opportunity you no longer expected. An encounter that changes your path. An inner peace that nothing can explain. These are the signs that heaven has begun to respond. Not because you did everything perfectly, but because you held firm. Because you didn't betray your heart. Because you chose to move forward even when everything told you to give up. And Allah does not forget this silent faithfulness. He elevates it. He honors it. He rewards it in ways no one can predict. So do not doubt, even now. Even if you are still in a hazy moment, do not let yourself be trapped by the noise of the world. Remember that great victories are often prepared in silence. Great destinies are forged in patience. And great rewards are reserved for those who know how to wait without turning away. You are one of them. You are one of those whom Allah loves with a hidden love. Not spectacular, but deep, powerful, lasting. You may not have measured it yet, but you are emerging from the valley of trial to enter the field of blessings. You have crossed the threshold. You are no longer in the test. You are in the harvest. But this harvest will not come without responsibility. For now that you have grown up, you will have to convey. Not necessarily with words, but with your posture, with your calm, with your detachment. People will look at you and not always understand how you manage to remain steady, to not panic, to not rush. They will not see the story behind your gaze. But you will know. You will know that every peaceful breath is the fruit of a struggle, that every simple decision is the result of long divine training. And it is this awareness that will make you a silent guide, a witness to Allah's mercy, a living reminder that the Lord is faithful even in the thickest darkness. Don't let the old you come back. Don't let that peace be stolen from you. You're stepping into a new version of yourself, one that's aligned, centered, and upward facing. You don't need to run anymore. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You're already chosen, you're already loved, and you're already on your way to what billions can never buy you, the satisfaction of the Most High. And sometimes, it's that satisfaction that attracts billions, not the other way around. Allah places abundance where the heart is purified. And if you're still here, after all you've been through, it's because your heart is ready. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters in Islam. Today, I want to speak to you who perhaps feel lost in this frantic race towards a job, towards a status, towards material recognition. You are one of Allah's chosen ones, a being chosen by His infinite wisdom, and yet, how many of us allow ourselves to be trapped by this incessant whirlwind of seeking to prove our worth in this world, forgetting the essential? Allah, in His mercy, warns us and guides us towards a brighter path. He tells us, do not run after jobs, do this instead. These words are not just advice, they are an invitation to redefine our relationship with life, our time, our effort. How many of us spend hours, days, or even years looking for a job, fighting for a position, chasing contracts, without ever feeling inner peace? How many wake up every morning with a weight on our hearts, a growing anxiety, a fatigue that won't go away? And yet, we are chosen ones, beings whom God has placed here with a specific purpose. There is within us a light, a strength, a mission far greater than simply fulfilling a social or professional role. Think for a moment. Can the job you are pursuing truly bring you ultimate satisfaction? Can it guarantee you peace, serenity, spiritual success, and closeness to Allah? Or is it not rather a distraction, a veil that distances you from your true essence? Islam teaches us that true wealth is that of the heart, that a man's worth is not measured by his salary, but by his faith, his patience, his submission to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad showed us by his example that simplicity, trust in Allah, and sincerity in worship are priceless treasures. He never chased wealth or high positions, but devoted every moment to building a deep relationship with his Creator and serving humanity with love and justice. It is this path, this light, that we must seek to follow, rather than losing ourselves in the illusory quest for material success. This video is a call to return to the basics, to refocus on what Allah truly wants for us, to understand that the race for jobs is only one step, often misleading, on the path to true success. Are you ready to hear this message and change your perspective? To stop running blindly and start walking with awareness, faith, and serenity? If so, then stay with me, because what you are about to discover can transform your life, your heart, and your relationship with Allah. Don't let time slip through your fingers without understanding its value. The time you spend chasing fleeting things is a lost opportunity to deepen your faith, purify your soul, and build an eternal future. Today, I want to invite you to take a fresh look at your life, to refocus your efforts on what truly matters, on what nourishes your spirit and brings you closer to your Lord. Together, we will explore what it truly means to be one of Allah's chosen ones in this world. How to no longer pursue jobs as an end in themselves, but how to live with the wisdom, confidence, and peace that only Allah can give. Prepare to open your heart and mind, because this process is more than just motivation. It is a spiritual rebirth. When we talk about wealth in this world, many immediately think of money, material possessions, and the financial stability that comes with a job. Yet, in Allah's vision, true wealth far surpasses these earthly and ephemeral criteria. To be rich in the eyes of Allah is to be filled with inner peace, the certainty of His presence, and steadfastness in faith. The spiritual wealth far more precious than all accumulated fortunes, is accessible to any sincere believer who decides to place their trust in God rather than in material possessions. Allah teaches us that man's true worth lies neither in the size of his salary nor in the recognition of others, but in the purity of his heart and the sincerity of his actions. This divine wisdom reminds us that material goods can disappear at any moment, that life is a breath, a test, and that only connection to Allah, this inner light, can truly fill the emptiness we often feel despite all that we possess. The frantic race for employment and financial security can thus become a source of constant dissatisfaction. It masks a deep emptiness, a thirst for meaning that only Allah can quench. The Prophet left us a rich legacy of examples where simplicity of life in no way detracted from spiritual greatness. He lived humbly, not attached to riches, but always rich in an unshakable faith. It is this wealth that we must seek, because it does not depend on external circumstances, but on our intimate relationship with the Creator. In this context, it becomes clear that employment and work should not be an end in themselves, but a means to our spiritual development. Seeking employment solely to accumulate wealth or to fill inner insecurity is to turn away from the true wealth promised by Allah. On the other hand, directing one's efforts consciously, within the limits of what God allows, to provide for one's needs while cultivating faith, is true wisdom. This inner wealth is also manifested by peace of heart, serenity in the face of hardships, and constant gratitude. A rich heart is one that appreciates blessings, even modest ones, that does not complain, and that sees every difficulty as an opportunity to draw closer to Allah. This attitude transforms the perception of time and work. It is no longer a stressful race, but a path of growth and learning. Allah reminds us that the most lasting wealth is that of the soul, and that this is nourished by prayer, remembrance of Allah's sigh, charity and patience. By cultivating these qualities, the Chosen One strengthens his faith and creates a true source of spiritual abundance, which transcends material limitations. This is why it is essential to place work and the search for employment in this broader context, not to lose sight of the end goal, which is closeness to Allah and the satisfaction of His decree. Thus, true wealth is not in what we have, but in what we are before Allah. It is a state of mind, a consciousness, a light that illuminates every moment. When this inner wealth is achieved, the outlook changes, priorities are adjusted, and the race for jobs becomes a serene approach, guided by divine wisdom. Brothers and sisters, the key is this: stop seeing employment as an end, and see it as a means to a richer, more just life, closer to Allah. This change of perspective is the first step toward a life full of meaning and blessings. Spiritual wealth attracts barakah, opens unexpected doors, and soothes the heart. Let us remember that even if material means are necessary, they must never become the center of our existence. Keeping our heart attached to Allah, even in the search for work, is the perfect balance. This is what every chosen one must deeply understand, so as not to get lost in the mirages of this world. In today's world, the pressure to find a stable job is immense. Everywhere, we are told that success comes from a good job, a good salary, and a brilliant career. This idea, deeply rooted in society, quickly becomes a subtle trap, especially for those seeking to reconcile faith and material reality. Many then embark on a frantic, almost desperate race to land that coveted position, believing it to be the only possible path to peace and success. But in reality, this race can turn into a truly dangerous detour. The frenzy that grips so many souls often pushes us to forget the essential. The reason why Allah placed us here, on this earth. We become slaves to this incessant search, absorbed by the procedures, the interviews, the rejections, the doubts, the frustrations. Our mental and physical energy is exhausted in this struggle. And yet, inner peace becomes increasingly rare. It is easy to lose sight of the fact that the search for a job must not become an obsession that erases every other dimension of our life, especially the spiritual one. This lifestyle, where we identify with our professional status, generates constant stress, sleepless nights, and deep worries. We even sacrifice precious moments with family, prayer, dhikr, and reading the Quran. We forget that Allah's chosen one is not defined by what he possesses or by the place he occupies in society, but by the quality of his faith, his perseverance, and his submission to the divine will. By seeking at all costs to please the world, we risk displeasing Allah. This race can also generate a form of paralyzing anxiety, a feeling of failure when results are slow in coming. Despair looms, patience wanes, and some end up abandoning prayer or the remembrance of Allah, believing that all is lost. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that trust and reliance on Allah must be strongest. It is in trial that the soul is purified and the chosen one grows. He who perseveres with faith, even in difficulty, is the one who will reap the greatest rewards. We must therefore recognize that pursuing a job as an end in itself is a trap that leads away from the true light. It is not about rejecting work or not seeking to provide for oneself, but rather about not allowing this pursuit to dominate our lives or obscure our priority, nurturing our relationship with Allah and making Him our only refuge. Allah's chosen ones are invited to adopt a posture of balance, where effort is made consciously, without haste or despair. Spirituality must never be sacrificed on the altar of material needs. On the contrary, it must guide every step, every decision. The time we devote to looking for a job must also include time for prayer, dhikr, and meditation on the divine word. For this is where true strength and true assurance lie. It's also important to remember that we're not alone in this race. Allah is always present, ready to open unexpected doors, send unexpected opportunities, and shower His blessings on our efforts. But this requires us to remain patient, humble, and confident. Letting go of the rat race to find inner peace means preparing ourselves to receive the best that God has for us, often in ways far different from what we imagined. Thus, the frantic race for jobs is not inevitable. It can become a path of faith, a school of patience and trust in Allah. It is a call to change our outlook, to stop seeking in the world what only Allah can fully provide. Recognizing this trap is the first step toward true freedom, the one that transforms a simple job seeker into a chosen one, a being connected to divine wisdom. In this crucial step, we will delve deeper into what it truly means to place one's trust in Allah in the context of a job search. Trust in God, or tawakkul, is a fundamental pillar of our faith, a bulwark against anxiety and haste. Yet, we often misinterpret this notion as merely passive waiting, a surrender to life's challenges. But authentic tawakkul, the one taught by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is far more dynamic and engaging. Trusting in Allah does not mean remaining inactive or doing nothing. Rather, it involves making the necessary effort, sincerely seeking, studying, preparing, and applying earnestly. But it also means accepting with serenity that the final outcome belongs to Allah alone, whether success or failure. This trust requires freeing our hearts from excessive fear, paralyzing stress, anger, or discouragement when things do not turn out as we had planned. In life, the believer faces a constant dilemma. how to combine human effort with submission to divine will. This is precisely where the beauty of Islam is revealed, for it asks us neither for inaction nor for obsession. It invites us to a happy medium, a harmony where effort is made with discipline, but with a peaceful heart, knowing that only Allah controls the outcome. The reality is that many people run endlessly, lost in a whirlwind of activity, forgetting to stop, take a break, and place their trust in the one who is the best of planners. Stress, anxiety, impatience, and the fear of failure all keep us away from the serenity promised by Allah. Yet, inner peace is within reach. It is achieved when we accept that every event has a meaning, a hidden wisdom, even if it escapes us at the time. Practicing tawakkul also means knowing how to pray sincerely, imploring Allah to guide our steps, to facilitate our path, to open the doors He deems good for us. It is a form of profound humility that recognizes our dependence on divine will while acting responsibly. The Prophet taught that the believer is like an archer who shoots his arrow, then places his trust in the outcome in the hands of Allah. In this posture, each day becomes an opportunity for spiritual growth. Every rejection, every expectation, every difficulty is a lesson that strengthens our faith. The heart is calmed. The mind is freed from the grip of doubt and fear. This tranquility is tangible proof that trust in Allah is not an abstraction, but a lived reality. It is also important to emphasize that this trust must be accompanied by a constant effort to purify the soul. Sometimes, obstacles in our lives can be due to spiritual shortcomings, sins, or shortcomings in our worship. Returning to Allah through sincere repentance, dhikr, regular prayer, and good deeds is an essential key to opening hearts and receiving blessings. Finally, true tawakkul is also manifested in the acceptance of destiny, whether favorable or difficult. This acceptance is not passive resignation, but an inner strength that allows us to weather storms with courage and dignity. This is how the chosen one of Allah moves forward, with the certainty that each step is guided, each trial is a springboard, and that the time given by Allah is perfect. In this step, it is essential to understand that true success is not measured solely by material success or the social position one may achieve. Allah reminds us through His word that true greatness lies in steadfastness in serving Him, in being patient, and in maintaining a strong faith, even in times when the world seems to turn its back on us. Too often, we are tempted to judge our worth by what we seemingly possess or accomplish, forgetting that every trial is an opportunity offered by Allah to purify our souls and strengthen our bond with Him. It is important to understand that what we perceive as failures or delays in our professional lives are not a sign of divine rejection, but sometimes divine protection. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sometimes leads us away from certain paths to protect us from unseen dangers, or to prepare us to receive blessings greater than we could have imagined. This patience, this trust in the divine plan, is what truly distinguishes the chosen one who allows himself to be guided by the light of Allah. In today's fast-paced society, where instant gratification is valued, the test of patience becomes a real challenge. But it is precisely this virtue that allows us to transform the time of waiting into a time of growth, meditation, and spiritual preparation. Allah's chosen ones do not allow themselves to be discouraged by delays. They do not succumb to despair. On the contrary, they draw their strength from prayer, from dhikr, from the deep conviction that every difficulty carries within it a seed of future success. It is also important to understand that trials are not limited to the material sphere. They can affect the soul, relationships, health, and many other aspects of life. All these trials are ways that God uses to purify, test, and elevate His chosen ones. They are a call to resilience, perseverance, and above all, unwavering faith. Every difficult moment must be met with the awareness that it is not a coincidence, but a sign of Allah's closeness. Furthermore, it is crucial to emphasize that patience does not mean passivity. True patience is accompanied by sincere effort, a willingness to move forward despite obstacles, while keeping the heart serene and turned towards Allah. It is this combination of action and trust that leads to lasting success, success that does not fade with time, but leaves a deep mark on the soul. Finally, in this quest, we must not forget the role of the community, of those around us. Seeking support from brothers and sisters in Islam, sharing our trials, and encouraging each other in our faith are all ways to strengthen this patience. Allah's chosen ones do not walk alone. They are carried by a spiritual solidarity that sustains them in times of doubt and trial. Thus, understanding and practicing patience in the job search is a path that leads to light, a path where the chosen one is transformed, grows, and draws closer to their Creator every day. It is in this active and faith-filled waiting that the true secret of success lies. At this point in our reflection, it is crucial to explore in depth the role of prayer and spiritual connection in the job search. Prayer is not simply a ritual obligation or a mechanical routine performed out of habit. It is the living, profound link between the believer's soul and its Creator, a refuge in times of uncertainty and a powerful means of opening doors that no human effort alone can unlock. In this struggle that many wage to find work, prayer is a weapon, an inexhaustible source of energy. When the heart feels overwhelmed, when doubt and fear seek to take root, returning to prayer, kneeling humbly before Allah, is a way to find inner peace. It is also a way to remember that it is not our strength that decides our destiny, but that of Allah, the Almighty, the Merciful. Each sajda, each worship, each moment spent in the divine presence is a declaration of humility and trust. Allah exhorts us in the Quran to ask Him sincerely. And when my servants ask you concerning me, then I am near. I answer the prayer of the one who prays to me when he prays to me. Surah Al-Baqarah 2186. This divine closeness is a promise for those who embark on this path of faith. Prayer then becomes a source of light in the darkness, a guide when the path seems unclear. But simply performing the obligatory prayers is not enough to hope for a real transformation in our situation. We must also multiply our invocations, turn to Allah with a sincere and humble heart, and express our fears, hopes, and deep needs. The Prophet Muhammad taught us many specific du'as to ask for ease, success, and protection from hardship. Every word spoken with faith is a seed sown in the garden of divine providence. Prayer creates an intimate connection, a space where the soul can free itself from the weight of worries and fill itself with renewed confidence. It also allows us to channel our emotions, transforming fear into courage, doubt into hope. In this context, seeking employment becomes a sacred act, a form of self-adoration, because it is a means of fulfilling the duty given to us while placing our trust in divine support. It is also important to remember that regularity is essential. Prayer reveals its full power, not in a moment of emergency, but in daily constancy. The believer who takes care of his connection with Allah, who does not neglect it even in times of success, will be supported in times of difficulty. Prayer is a means of establishing inner stability, a lasting peace that does not depend on external circumstances. Beyond prayer, there is also dhikr, the remembrance of Allah, which purifies the heart and drives away negative thoughts. Repeating the names of Allah, meditating on His greatness, and remembering His past blessings all strengthen faith and prepare the mind to welcome the blessings to come. Dhikr is a balm for the soul, weary from the struggles of daily life. Finally, this spiritual connection helps us see the job search from a different perspective. It is no longer simply an economic necessity, but a spiritual test, an opportunity to learn to depend more on Allah, to strengthen our faith, and to move forward with courage and serenity. It is this change of perspective that allows the chosen one to remain steadfast and confident, even when results are slow in coming. This stage of prayer and spiritual connection is therefore fundamental. It transforms the way in which the believer experiences his ordeal. It opens a new dimension where each difficulty becomes an opportunity to draw closer to God and receive His light. Patience, effort, trust, everything then comes together in a spiritual dynamic that goes beyond simple material research. Now that we have explored trust in Allah, patience, sincere effort, and prayer, it is time to understand how all of this fits into a larger vision of life, a vision shaped by faith, by the certainty that every moment, every event is orchestrated by the Creator in His infinite wisdom. The final step, perhaps the most essential, is that of full and total acceptance of the divine will, a trusting surrender that transcends all human worry and control. Accepting Allah's will does not mean abandoning one's dreams, ambitions, or work. On the contrary, it means recognizing that, despite our plans, efforts, and desires, He alone holds the keys to destiny. This requires profound humility, a letting go that cannot be improvised, but is built over time, faith, and experience. This letting go is a form of love for Allah, a trust so great that it transforms the torments of the soul into unshakable peace. In life, this acceptance manifests itself through an inner serenity that allows one to go through trials without losing hope or becoming discouraged. When doors seem closed, when answers are delayed, the chosen one of Allah does not sink into anger or despair. He knows that this time of waiting has a reason, a hidden wisdom that will be revealed to him at the right time. This active patience is a precious test, a path to a spiritual maturity that makes him stronger, closer to his Creator. Trusting surrender also means knowing how to give thanks for what is already present, even if it isn't what we hoped for. Gratitude is a spiritual key that opens the doors to contentment. It transforms what seems insufficient into a source of blessings. Allah teaches us that he who gives thanks multiplies his blessings. Thus, even in times of trial, the chosen one cultivates gratitude, which strengthens his bond with Allah and increases his inner light. Another aspect of this acceptance is the complete surrender of one's destiny into the hands of Allah, which also implies not succumbing to the temptation to seek illicit shortcuts or means contrary to the divine will. Success achieved through forbidden means is fleeting and a source of unhappiness. The chosen one knows that true success is that which comes with the blessing of Allah, which purifies the heart and elevates the soul. In this final stage, it is also important to understand that every trial, every difficulty, is an opportunity given by Allah to grow spiritually, to strengthen one's faith, and to elevate oneself. The believer no longer sees waiting as a waste of time, but as a precious investment in his future, a time of inner preparation that makes him ready to receive the blessing at the right time. Finally, the chosen one of Allah walked with the conviction that, despite the apparent slowness of events, nothing escapes His will. Time is a creation of Allah, and He orders it according to His perfect wisdom. This outlook on life frees one from stress and anxiety and opens the heart to a profound peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding. This is how the chosen one becomes a living witness to the power of Allah, an example of faith and resilience for those around him. This total acceptance is a spiritual art, a state of mind that every believer is called to cultivate. It transforms the way we live our daily lives. It gives profound meaning to each moment, and it prepares the chosen one to receive, at the divinely chosen moment, the immense reward promised by Allah to those who place their trust in Him. May peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. I speak to you today with urgency in my heart, because this message is for you, for those who feel called without really knowing why, for those who carry deep within them a light that the world tries to extinguish. Perhaps you have already felt this inexplicable emptiness, this weight in the hollow of your soul, like a distant whisper that you dare not listen to. Know that this whisper is the voice of Allah, a gentle but powerful call that invites you to wake up, to emerge from this torpor in which time locks you. This time, this life, does not truly belong to you. It is a precious deposit that the Creator has entrusted to you, but it is limited, fragile, and more than ever, it is passing quickly. What you may not know is that you are part of a minority, a handful of chosen ones that only 0.1% of humanity will recognize, those for whom Allah has reserved a unique destiny. But this gift, this election, is also a burden, a responsibility that weighs heavily when you understand that time is running out. You can no longer afford to ignore the signs, to push away the truth, or to live as if each day were the same as the previous one. The clock is ticking, the hourglass is emptying, and with each grain of sand that falls, an opportunity slips away. It's a reality that many refuse to face, but not you, not those who thirst for truth and light. This video, these words, are a beacon in the night to guide you, to reawaken that sacred fire within you. So listen carefully, because what you are about to discover could very well change the way you see your life, your faith, and your future. It is time to rise up, to answer the call, because Allah's chosen ones no longer have time to waste. Throughout your life, Allah continues to call you, sometimes clearly, sometimes through subtle signs that only an awakened soul can perceive. These reminders are never trivial, for they are the silent words of your Creator trying to bring you back to Him. Yet, how many times have you ignored these signs, looked away, or allowed your heart to close in the face of these calls? Every encounter, every trial, every dream, or intense feeling you have experienced is not a coincidence, but a coded message from Allah. A reminder that you are still on the path, that your mission is not over, that the time you think you have is in reality very limited. It is common to think that these powerful moments will come later, when circumstances are more favorable, or that life is long and there is plenty of time to repent and draw closer to Allah. But this thought is a subtle trap, an illusion that the devil sets to distance the chosen ones from their destiny. Time waits for no one, and every moment you postpone responding to this divine call is a step toward a loss you cannot measure now. Reflect for a moment on these signs that you may have already received but ignored. This feeling of inexplicable dissatisfaction, this dull fear of the future, this return to prayer after a long period of forgetfulness, this reading of the Quran that suddenly touches your heart in a new way. These are all signs that you are not abandoned, that you are still chosen, but that the countdown has begun. What distinguishes the chosen ones is their ability to hear beyond the noise of the world, to grasp these subtle messages, and to respond to them with sincerity. This is not a matter of chance, but of choice. Some will close their ears, others will open their hearts, and this small detail will make all the difference. For responding to Allah's call is not done in haste or fear, but in the deep awareness that each moment is a gift, a unique opportunity to draw closer to Him. This choice is the spark that ignites the fire of true faith, the one that transforms an ordinary life into a path of divine election. If you are one of those rare few who have felt this call, do not reject it. Do not let the world, its distractions and illusions, blind you further. Take the time, even if you think you lack it, to listen, meditate, and above all, act. For each time you choose to answer this call, you change the course of your life. You bring your soul closer to its ultimate peace, and you enter that small circle of beings whom Allah loves and protects. This path is not easy, because answering Allah's call also means giving up certain things, facing your own weaknesses, and sometimes walking alone in a world that does not understand your quest. But it is also the path to true freedom, that of the soul freeing itself from its chains, that of finally finding the peace it has sought everywhere but never found. Understand that this moment when you hear this call is a divine favor, a precious gift that only the chosen ones recognize. Do not waste it, for time is short, and the light you can embrace today could be extinguished tomorrow. Time, this invisible yet powerful breath, is the most implacable test that each of Allah's chosen ones must face. In this fleeting life, we often believe we have days and years to waste, hours to postpone our choices. But the truth is quite different. Time passes without waiting, without pausing, and each moment we let slip away is a treasure that disappears forever. Those who are truly chosen feel deep within them this urgency, this gentle and insistent pressure, because they know that life is not a long, quiet river, but a narrow bridge suspended between two worlds, fragile and vulnerable. This bridge is life here below, and it is much shorter than we think. Every breath, every heartbeat, every thought counts, for the moment of our return to the Creator is ever faster approaching. Yet most people live as if they were immortal, constantly putting off the day when they will have to give an account. This illusion is one of the greatest traps for the elect, for it can lull even the most awakened souls to sleep. How many opportunities are lost? How many tears are repressed? How many prayers are forgotten? Because we believe we can always make up for lost time. But time never returns. Faced with this reality, it becomes clear that patience is not synonymous with passive waiting, but with conscious and determined action. True sabr, this patience recommended by Allah, is the inner strength that pushes one to move forward despite difficulties, to not be overwhelmed by fear or fatigue. For those who understand that time is running out can no longer afford to wait until conditions are perfect before acting. They must seize the moment, transforming each second into a stone placed on the path back to Allah. Chosen ones often feel this inner tension between what they would like to accomplish and what time actually allows. It's a race against time, an intimate battle between the soul and the ephemeral. But this struggle is also a blessing, for it sharpens awareness, clarifies priorities, and forces us to choose what is essential. It is no longer a matter of following the distractions of the world, fleeting desires or vain habits, but of focusing on what truly nourishes the soul, what builds peace and closeness with the Creator. The life of a chosen one is thus marked by constant vigilance, paying attention to the slightest sign, to every opportunity to draw closer to Allah. This vigilance is a gift, but also an immense responsibility. For the more time passes, the more crucial the choices become, the more serious the consequences. Those who understand this urgency no longer settle for promises or regrets, but take action, putting into practice what their faith demands. Sincere prayer, deep repentance, kindness toward others, and constancy in effort. We should never underestimate the power of a moment dedicated to Allah. For even if time seems short, each moment lived in the presence of the Divine has infinite value. And therein lies hope for those who feel this lack of time. Allah is merciful and generous. He opens doors even when everything seems closed. He multiplies the blessings and lengthens the spiritual life of those who turn to Him with sincerity. But this miracle only happens to those who act, who do not give up, who refuse to give in to despair. Finally, we must understand that time is not simply a limit, it is also a test. A test to see which of the chosen ones will wake up, rise up, and take the right direction before their last breath comes. This limited time is a constant reminder that every moment must be filled with meaning, that every step towards Allah is a victory over forgetfulness and distance. And even if the road is difficult, even if the soul sometimes wavers, the certainty that Allah is there, that He hears and guides, transforms this struggle into a march full of hope. When we speak of time, it is not just an abstract notion measured in seconds, minutes, or years. Time is also the soul's most intimate test. The test that the Creator places before each of His chosen ones to discern those who cling firmly to their faith and those who let their inner light fade. In truth, the lack of time you feel is not simply an external fact, a material constraint. It is a divine reminder that pushes you toward a profound transformation. The passing of time is a mirror in which your soul looks at itself, a call to spiritual awakening that invites you to free yourself from the chains of the world and fully embrace your mission on this earth. This mission, which sometimes seems heavy, seems overwhelming, is nevertheless an immense honor. Allah does not choose those He loves at random. He tests them, sharpens them, prepares them to fulfill an essential role in His creation. But this preparation is also an inner struggle, a fight between the desire of the heart and the incessant distractions of life. You may feel lost in this tumult, overwhelmed by doubts, by fatigue, by the fear of not being up to it. But remember that it is precisely in these moments of trial that faith reveals itself at its purest, its strongest. What you are going through is an obligatory passage, a stage that forges the souls of the chosen ones. The shortness of time is not an enemy, but an ally. It forces you to make choices, to purify your intentions, to let go of everything that has no eternal value. Distractions, fleeting desires, past regrets, all of these must give way to the urgency of the mission. Time is running out, but this is no reason to give in to fear or discouragement. On the contrary, it is a call to absolute trust in Allah, to the certainty that every sincere effort will be rewarded, that every step taken toward Him is a victory. You must understand that you are not alone in this race against time. Allah is with you, guiding your steps, illuminating your path, even when the darkness seems total. This divine proximity is the source of the strength of the chosen ones. It transforms weakness into courage, doubt into certainty, weariness into perseverance. Every prayer, every supplication, every act of charity that you perform is proof of this presence. There are so many lights that dispel the darkness of passing time. Don't lose hope, even if you feel like time is slipping through your fingers. What you are experiencing is a phase, not an end. Allah is the most merciful. He renews opportunities. He opens doors where you thought there were none left. But this mercy will only be fully granted to those who act, who are not content to wait, who make every moment an opportunity to draw closer to the divine. Realize the value of the time you still have, this unique opportunity to grow spiritually, to purify your heart, and to strengthen your relationship with Allah. Time is not a burden, it is a gift, a field of action where every effort, however small, can produce a bountiful harvest in the hereafter. Let this be your strength, your motivation, your hope. When faced with the stark reality of time running out, it becomes essential to understand that every wasted second is a missed opportunity to draw closer to Allah and live according to His will. Allah's chosen ones are called to live with a heightened awareness, where every moment counts, where every breath is an opportunity for spiritual renewal. Yet, it is easy to get caught up in daily routines, immediate desires, or the temptation to procrastinate what is vital to the soul.
This danger is very real, and it threatens each of us, even the most devout believers. This apparent lack of time that weighs on the elect is not a punishment, but a divine invitation to emerge from inaction, to break with the passivity that distances us from the truth. Time should not be seen as an enemy, but as a precious ally, an hourglass in which each grain of sand that falls is a reminder of the precariousness of this life and the urgency to act. Faced with this hourglass, it is vital to choose carefully where to focus your gaze, where to invest your energy, because this choice will determine the weight of your soul on the day of judgment. The real challenge then is to awaken, to emerge from spiritual lethargy, from the deep sleep in which the world tries to lock the soul. The chosen one must recognize that this limited time is a blessing, a unique opportunity to purify his heart, to repair his past mistakes, to strengthen his relationship with Allah. The Prophet said that the best of actions is one done with sincerity and constancy, even if it is small. This means that every gesture, every intention directed towards Allah has immense value, especially in this context where time seems to slip through our fingers. From this perspective, time becomes a catalyst, a driving force that pushes towards total commitment. It is no longer a question of postponing decisions, of putting off until tomorrow what can be done today, but of getting up with determination, of living each day as if it were the last, with the awareness that Allah's call is urgent and that the response must be immediate. This urgency is not a source of anxiety, but a source of light and clarity that allows us to distinguish the essential from the superfluous. By becoming aware of this reality, the chosen one can then find inner peace. The peace that comes from the certainty that he is doing everything in his power to answer the divine call, that he is not wasting time on vain distractions, but that he is investing every moment in what will nourish his soul. This peace is a treasure, a protection against despair, a light in the darkness of doubt. It is also important to remember that this race against time should not be solitary. Allah's chosen one is part of a community, a spiritual body that advances together toward the light, surrounding oneself with brothers and sisters in faith, sharing experiences, encouraging one another, and praying together. These are actions that strengthen determination and make the journey less burdensome. Union in faith is a refuge and a source of strength, as it allows one to draw on the collective energy of those who share the same quest. Finally, faced with this lack of time, the chosen one must also cultivate hope and trust in the infinite mercy of Allah. This mercy is the foundation upon which all action rests, the anchor that allows one to persevere despite mistakes, falls, and moments of weakness. Even when all seems lost, even when the soul doubts, Allah is always ready to welcome those who return to Him with a sincere heart. Time may be short, but the mercy of Allah is immense and exceeds all limits. Thus, in this emergency, the chosen one finds a subtle balance between awareness of limited time and absolute trust in divine mercy. This balance is the key to moving forward without fear, to transforming the precariousness of this life into a unique opportunity for spiritual growth. The lack of time then becomes an invitation to live fully, intensely, with faith and hope, knowing that every sincere effort is a victory and every moment a grace. Faced with the implacable reality of time passing, each of Allah's chosen ones faces a major test: the conscious management of the limited time given to them. This challenge goes far beyond the simple material organization of daily life. It is a spiritual battle, a race where eternity is at stake. Time is not a renewable resource. It is precious and fragile, and yet it is often wasted on insubstantial activities, fleeting distractions, and superficial passions. For those chosen by Allah, this reality is a powerful alarm, a call to radically transform their way of life. The perceived lack of time is not inevitable, but an opportunity given by Allah to awaken the soul to a deeper awareness. This sense of urgency, this weight on the shoulders, is a reminder that the path to spiritual success is a narrow, demanding, and rapid one. Those who are chosen know that the moment when they will cross the bridge to eternity is ever approaching, and that it is therefore vital to make each moment a step towards purification of the heart, sincere repentance, and closeness to Allah. This radical awareness can only be accompanied by a profound inner transformation. One might wonder how to avoid feeling overwhelmed by this pressure, how to avoid discouragement in the face of the apparent urgency and magnitude of spiritual challenges. The answer lies in faith and constant reliance on Allah. The chosen one is never alone. The divine presence is always there to support, encourage, and guide. It is this closeness to Allah that gives the strength to persevere, even when the path seems long and the obstacles numerous. It is this certainty that transforms the pressure of time into a source of energy and motivation, a light in the darkness. This fight against time is also accompanied by a necessary renunciation of all that is not essential. The life of a chosen one can no longer be scattered, fragmented among 1,000 occupations that distance one from the truth. One must learn to say no to what is futile, to what feeds the ego or fleeting desires, in order to say yes to what elevates the soul and brings one closer to Allah. This inner discipline is difficult because it requires strength, vigilance, and a clarity of mind that only love for Allah can provide. Yet, it is indispensable because without it, time passes without fruit, and the divine mission remains unfinished. Furthermore, this struggle against time also requires us to completely rethink our relationship with existence. The world here below, with its illusions, its apparent successes, and its fleeting pleasures, must no longer be the center of our concerns. The chosen one understands that his true home is the afterlife, that this passage on earth is only a short journey, a preparation for eternal life. This spiritual vision disrupts priorities, transforms actions, and gives a profound meaning to each decision. It is no longer the present moment that matters to him, but the eternal consequence of this moment. The urgency of the time experienced by the chosen ones also pushes us to constantly question ourselves. Each day is a test. Each night, a moment to turn inward, examine our actions, ask for forgiveness, and renew our commitment. This work of introspection is difficult because it confronts our weaknesses, our errors, our shortcomings. But it is also liberating because it allows us to move forward with humility, sincerity, and confidence. Without this honest look at ourselves, it is impossible to fully grasp the value of time and live it in accordance with divine will. Solidarity among brothers and sisters in faith thus becomes an essential pillar in this race against time. No chosen one can succeed alone. The community is a source of encouragement, guidance, and support in times of doubt. It is a refuge against the temptation of isolation or discouragement. Sharing one's spiritual journey, its successes and failures alike, is a way to strengthen collective faith and move forward together toward the common goal, to please Allah and attain His closeness. It is also important to understand that this limited time is a school of wisdom. It teaches patience, perseverance, detachment, and gratitude. Every difficulty encountered, every obstacle along the way, is a precious lesson that prepares the soul for the grandeur of eternal life. The chosen ones learn to see beyond appearances, to recognize the hand of Allah in every event, even in suffering. This transcendent vision transforms the way we experience time, filling it with meaning and beauty. From this perspective, urgency is not a source of anxiety, but a driving force to move forward with faith and serenity. It invites us to live each day fully, intensely, as a precious gift. It encourages us to constantly seek the presence of Allah in every action, in every thought, in every word. It makes us understand that time does not belong to us, but that it is a responsibility entrusted by the Creator, a field of action where every sincere effort will be counted. The key to managing this emergency, to avoid losing oneself in fear or haste, is absolute trust in the wisdom of Allah. Even if time seems short, even if mistakes are numerous, Allah is always ready to welcome the chosen one who returns to Him with a sincere and repentant heart. This infinite mercy is the ultimate refuge, the light that illuminates even the darkest paths. It is the hope that nourishes determination and gives the strength to continue, no matter what. Thus, living with the awareness of limited time means living in a deep and intimate relationship with Allah. It means recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to be reborn, to purify oneself, to draw closer to the divine. It means accepting that life here below is a brief but crucial stage, a bridge to eternity where the soul's destiny is decided. And it means moving forward each day with courage, humility, and confidence, knowing that ultimate success belongs to those who never give up, even when faced with a lack of time. We have now reached a crucial moment where the truth must resonate deep within our hearts. The time granted to us is a fragile gift, a constant test, and yet a powerful means by which Allah calls us to His closeness. In this final stage, it is time to fully grasp the reality of our chosen condition, to understand the urgency of our situation, and above all, to commit ourselves to transforming each moment into a sacred opportunity so that our souls are ready when the time comes. Allah's chosen one, the one chosen by His infinite mercy, can no longer afford to live in the illusion of a long, easy life filled with distractions and procrastination. The truth is harsh, but necessary. Only a tiny fraction of those who claim to be believers will live their faith fully, truly connected to Allah. And it is this precious minority, this 0.01%, who will come to see the ultimate reward, the eternal light. This reality must be a powerful wake-up call for all of us, an alarm bell ringing in our souls telling us that time is running out, and we must act now. We must understand that this apparent lack of time is, in reality, a blessing in disguise. Allah, in His wisdom, has chosen not to let us wander aimlessly, without direction. The sense of urgency is an outstretched hand, a sign of a divine love that pushes us to become aware of our value, our responsibility, and to no longer waste time on futile or ephemeral things. Every second, every breath, thus becomes a treasure, a precious pearl that we must cherish and invest in our relationship with Allah. The key to this precious time management lies in the sincerity of the heart. The chosen one does not seek perfection in his actions, but the purity of his intention. No matter the magnitude or quantity of the works, it is the intention that elevates, purifies, and transforms. The Prophet Muhammad taught that actions are judged according to intentions, and it is this truth that must guide every gesture, every word, every thought. Even in times when strength is lacking, when discouragement tries to set in, sincerity can transform everything. Faced with this emergency, it is also necessary to adopt active patience, a patience imbued with trust in Allah. The path is long, strewn with trials, but each difficulty is an opportunity to grow, to strengthen one's faith, to purify one's soul. The chosen one understands that victory does not lie in the absence of failure, but in perseverance despite setbacks, in the ability to rise again and again, guided by divine light. This patience is an invisible force that sustains in the darkest moments and gives hope for a new dawn. We must also remember that this race against time is not a solitary one. The community of believers is a fundamental pillar that supports, inspires, and uplifts. Surrounding oneself with sincere brothers and sisters, participating in collective prayer, exchanging words of wisdom, and sharing experiences. All of this builds a solid chain of love and faith that prevents one from giving into fatigue or discouragement. This unity is a concrete manifestation of Allah's mercy, a sacred bond that illuminates the path. Furthermore, it is crucial to cultivate gratitude, that attitude of heart that transforms everything. Gratefulness to Allah for each day, for each trial, for each blessing is a powerful antidote to the temptation of discouragement or ingratitude. Gratitude opens the doors to inner peace, nourishes faith, and illuminates the path. Even when time seems short, being grateful allows us to put things into perspective and find the strength and serenity needed to move forward. By becoming aware of all this, the Chosen One is called to a profound transformation, a radical change in his way of seeing and experiencing time. It is no longer a simple external factor, but a reality experienced internally, a constant source of inspiration and motivation. Each moment becomes an opportunity to draw closer to Allah, to purify oneself, to progress spiritually. It is in this transformation that lies true success, the lasting victory that transcends the limits of this world. Finally, we must always keep in mind the greatness of divine mercy. No matter our past mistakes, our weaknesses, or our falls, Allah is always ready to welcome those who return to Him with a sincere heart. This mercy is infinite, beyond all human measure, and it is this mercy that gives us the hope and strength to continue. Even when time seems to escape us, it is there to catch us, to lift us up, to guide us towards the light. Thus, Allah's Chosen One must never lose hope, must never give up. Because victory belongs to those who persevere, to those who understand that time is a sacred gift to be used with wisdom, faith, and love. By cultivating this awareness, by living with this spiritual urgency, everyone can hope to be part of that blessed minority, that 0.01% who will see the eternal light, who will find peace and the reward promised by Allah. May this truth resonate in our hearts and spur us to act today, without delay, for time is running out and eternity is within reach. May our lives be a living testimony to our faith, our commitment, and our love for Allah. For in this way we will be able to say, with pride and humility, that we are among the chosen ones, that we have seized the time given to us, and that we have walked the path of light.